Hey guys, how's it going? You get two episodes of me in a row to start 2025. I'm working on scheduling with some guests, and in the meantime, I'm wanting to do more this year to get on here, and the episodes are going to be shorter with me. One thing I realize, and I said this before, is it's easier to do something a little bit at a time than to stop and get away from it and then gear back up and get back into it. I think it's been 3 years, almost 3 years since I started the podcast. That first year did weekly episodes or almost more than weekly on average. And then the second year it kind of faded out a little bit to like doing episodes every 3, 4 years, 3, 4 months. Hey guys, welcome back. You get me for two episodes in a row to start 2025. I'm looking to schedule with guests. But in the meantime, instead of waiting uh, until we get those scheduled, just wanted to hop on here. Something that I say with jujitsu, it's easier to like be consistent and do something for a little bit at a time than to like pause and take a break and then get back into it. The first year of the episode, I think, or the podcast, has been 3 years. The first year I did weekly episodes. The second year faded out to like one every 3 or 4 weeks. And then the third year I was doing episodes every 4 to 8 weeks. I didn't do just did a handful of episodes last year, but I'm back. Um and why? Because want to share what I've been learning, learning a lot, learned a lot last year, and so want to encourage you and share some resources with you. Last episode was on chronic pain, grief, suffering, um, chronic illness, and it was a sober episode. And my first instinct, inclination, was to hop on and try to encourage and lift the mood a little bit, um, and I resisted that because grief and sorrow and that the messy middle and the waiting on healing and recovery, that's a reality of life that I don't have to just quickly jump in, intervene, and try to fix and make it lighter or make it feel better. And so I gave it some space, um, to sit with it. If you haven't heard it, I encourage you to go back and give it a listen. But this episode is going to be on some resources for healing and growth and the journey of emotional and spiritual uh, growth, and healing as we start this year, and some resources for individuals and for couples. So, starting with your relationship with God. A few days ago, I shared on a reel a verse from John 15. I am the vine, you are the branches, and about abiding in Christ. And uh, Jesus said, if you abide in me, and I in you, he it is who will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. And that was such a good reminder. Uh, at the end of the year, I'm always thinking about lessons learned and kind of doing a year-end review. And, you know, where do I need to get back on track? Where do I need to focus? You know, thinking about short-term goals, long-term goals. One of my goals is to retire either this year or the next from my day job. And so, I can kind of get ramped up, motivated, pumped up, and that voice, that verse slowed me down and made me recenter and remind myself that, connection with God uh, is paramount, is the most important thing. And so, a couple resources that encourage you in your faith, and putting God first. One I'd like to recommend is Practicing the Way by John Mark Comer. on discipleship. It's be with Jesus, become like him, and do as he did. Really helpful resources and resource and super encouraging. Have been encouraged by several videos and interviews around practicing the way. And folks that go to Bridgetown Church, they are very familiar with that book. Lots of sermons, and that's something that's been developed for years and years, and continues to be practiced at their church, even though he's left. But I'm glad that book came out last year to encourage the church to follow Christ, follow Jesus, to practice the way. Another resource that can help with connection with God and also with faith and with church, especially if you have mixed feelings, or if you're deconstructing, or aren't sure about your relationship with God, or your connection with God, is Attached to God by Kristen Mayfield. This book, one of the subtitles or quotes on the back is, "Why does God feel so far away? The key is your attachment style." So this explores your upbringing and your connection with God. Very helpful resource. So those are a couple books. One podcast I'd like to recommend is the Soul Grit podcast by Ann Taylor McNeese. That is a really good podcast that explores the connection of faith and psychology, theology, and therapy. Now, a good resource for just mental health, spiritual health, in general. What do I do with depression? Am I depressed? Anxiety, and addiction. This book, Depression, Anxiety, and Other Things We Don't Want to Talk About, by Ryan Casey Waller, is really helpful. Ryan is a therapist and a lawyer and a pastor, and I just really appreciate just how real and practical this book is. This is helpful if you're a family member of someone struggling in those areas with emotional health or addiction, and you want to support them, but you're not sure how. That is a really good book for understanding and yeah. So depression, anxiety, and other things we don't want to talk about. Attachment style, secure attachment, anxious attachment, avoidant attachment. It's so important with the work that I do with couples, but it's also helpful. Understanding your attachment style is really helpful individually, and like learning about attachment and understanding attachment. The old becomes new. This is not a new thing, but just the awareness and the importance of secure attachment is become more popular. It's kind of like the new trauma informed therapy, or Enneagram lately, and I don't mind, because it's really helpful to understand the importance of being seen and being safe and being soothed and being secure, having secure attachment with others and with God. So learning more about the 4 relationship styles by Dr. Anita Knight Toonley. This is really helpful. Had the privilege of going to a workshop with her and her husband on relationship styles, and there's so many books about it, but I really like how they explain attachment in the 4 relationship styles. 2 books on polyvagal theory, recovering and healing from trauma, and also PTSD, and healing from depression, anxiety, and understanding how trauma affects your nervous system, is first one to recommend. Try Softer by Andy Colbert. Uh, this book has been out for a while, um, but this has helped several of my clients, especially uh, clients that grew up in Christian households, maybe are kind of stuck in the performance trap with perfectionism, people pleasing, just worn out and exhausted. Um, struggling with performance perfectionism, um, and just trying harder and worn out and burnt out and exhausted. This is a really helpful book. And there's an accompanying workbook or journal that you can also get, and that's been really helpful. It's definitely helped several of my clients, and it's a good supplement to therapy. Andy's book, and then this is a newer one. It's a similar color scheme on the cover. Another beautiful book by Chuck Grope, Healing What's Within. And he also explains about the polyvagal responses, the trauma responses, fight or flight or fleeing and fawning. And he also, it's just so real and hopeful. Really enjoyed this book. Kind of helpful. I mean, it's challenging to go through, but very helpful. One of the questions that he asks, that's a good one to think about here at the start of 2025 is where are you? And he really that's a question that God asked Adam and Eve at the start of the Bible. And so here at the start of the year, where are you? Where are you at? Emotionally, relationally, where are you at with life and how you're feeling about yourself, how you're viewing yourself? Are you that's a good place to start, and a good book. If you're struggling or hurting, definitely encourage you to get that one. This is going to be the last book I'm recommending. Couples Therapy Workbook for Healing: Emotionally Focused Therapy Techniques to Restore Your Relationship, by Lori Clough Shade. There's lots of EFT books. Hold Me Tight, Created for Connection, How We Love, and but and it's not just because it's new to me, and not just because it's like $11-12. I just like how simple and clear this workbook is. I like the assessments that talk about your individual attachment styles and also the negative cycles that couples can experience. This is a really helpful workbook, even if you're not in therapy. A couple more podcasts to recommend, guys. The Real Imhoffs with Angela and Chad Imhoff is a really good YouTube channel podcast for couples, and start with the basics playlist that they have. I give that channel for homework to like almost every couple lately. Couple for individuals, the Adam Young podcast, the place we find ourselves, is so good, guys. For healing, for somatic practice, forgiveness, family of origin stuff. So helpful. If you're a therapist and you want to explore things with your clients, definitely recommend you check it out as well. Lately, especially the last couple of years, I'm talking to so many people about attention and focus and productivity and anxiety and sleep disorders. Screen time, guys, smartphone is affecting individual mental health and relationships so much. So the Cal Newport website, you might be familiar with him from digital minimalism and deep work, but he's cranking out episodes on his YouTube channel to help you be more focused and productive and to do deep work and recover from addiction to technology. Dopamine Nation, uh, Anna Lemke, she also came out with the Dopamine Nation workbook. That's on the to read list here in the next couple months. But definitely Dopamine Nation. Oh, slipped in another book review, recommendation there. If smartphone use is affecting your mental health and relationships. Another audiobook, cheating a little bit. An audiobook I started listening to this week by Kevin Roose, Future Proof: 9 Rules for Humans in the Age of Automation. I'm probably going to do another episode on AI and staying human. But this book is talking about, it's addressing like fear and anxiety of being replaced by technology, but also just the effect of automation, not just AI, but the effect of technology on us as humans. And it's going to be a huge issue. I mean, it already is. And I hope we'll do more episodes this year on the impact of AI on us individually and as families and marriages. So there's a few resources, guys. I hope this is going to be a great year for you. Oh, also wanted to recommend. Last episode, I said, don't go through what you're going through alone. Our church, East Side Imago Dei Community, is starting a couple support groups and classes that can help with emotional and spiritual growth and healing. We're doing refuge groups, which is like, I think, 6 to 8 week classes / groups. And then also we're starting Celebrate Recovery, which is also helpful for healing and change and growth. So I'll put the contact info in the show notes. Even if you aren't local to Portland, you might consider getting support from Celebrate Recovery in your area or online. All right, guys. Please like, subscribe, comment, and please let me know if there's any topics related to mental health and spiritual health, relational health that you'd like me to cover this year. If it's not in my area of expertise, I'll try to find someone that we can ask for their help. All right, guys. Until next time, I'll see ya.